We are all individuals, but in the same time, every atom in our existence is completely held and sustained by the world around us. I believe that much of our distress, of our symptomology, is caused by failure in this holding structure. Much of the depression, anxiety, lack of happiness and lack of meaning in the world is caused by the outside reality. Now, understanding this strong bond between us and the world empowers us to make deep changes in ourselves and in the world around us. Let's take a closer look. We are all individuals, but in the same time, we are also non-individuals. Now, this is a paradox. Let's try and look at the great paradoxes of our existence. In the field of physics, the cosmos has matter, but in the same time, it has antimatter, it has void, it has black holes. So this is a paradox. In the field of biology, we have life and death simultaneously. That's the way it is. So I'm proposing that in the field of psychology, the basic paradox is us being individuals and non-individuals in the same time. I couldn't find a good enough word for non-individuality. You're very welcome to make suggestions or thoughts about that in the comment area below, because we need to put more thought into that. Now let's look into subjectivity. Of course, on the one side, we're all individuals, we have our subjective psyche, our life's history, the singular potential in front of us. But on the other side, we are completely immersed and observed in the world. We are sustained by the world, and we are completely dependent on the world. Psychological terms that might be fit here are holding environment, containing environment. I added very nice videos in the text box below elaborating on that. And I can try and give examples for the holding and the containing environment of which we are part. Let's say again in the field of physics. When one learns how to scuba dive, we are taught that while the air around us seems weightless, actually we have a column of air above us, 100 kilometers tall, the size of the atmosphere approximately, and it weighs like 10 meters of water. So at all times we are under atmospherical pressure called 1 atmosphere. And if we are to dive to 10 meters, we'll be under the pressure of 2 atmospheres. So every atom of our existence at all times is completely influenced, engulfed, penetrated, covered by these physical forces. Atmospherical pressure, of course gravity is a good example, and there are many others. So this is an example of a holding environment. Let's take an example from biology. We must breathe oxygen, all of us. The oxygen we are breathing is created by plants doing photosynthesis around the world. We also must nourish and feed ourselves. So we need to eat some of these plants and maybe some of the animals, it's debatable now, but we must nourish every single atom in our existence. That's also a containing environment. So if I am to look for some metaphor or a depiction or representation of that, I see us as a unit, maybe with the surface of our skin being the limit of that unit, completely immersed in the world, and it is being sustained, being held like with scaffolding at every open piece of our surface. We are completely sustained and held at all times. Now, I am proposing here that in the psychological level, we are as dependent of our psychological world as we are dependent in the physical world and in the biological world. When I talk of our psychological world, I talk of the relationships in our lives. We have relationships with our parents, family, with our community, and with our society and culture. Our relationships are holding us. They are holding us through trust, through intimacy, through communication, and along other things, through the common values and beliefs we share. In our relationships, we feel understood. We feel that we are a part, that we belong, and we learn to know ourselves and our unique potentials. Now, whenever this holding fails, whenever we feel that we are not seen by others, or that we are manipulated, or that we are objectified, and at harsh times when we are hurt or traumatized, whenever this happens, we are impinged. The holding membrane around us is opened with a void, and we are not held and sustained. The inner psychological feeling is as if the ground has opened its mouth. Basic rules of existence we believed in suddenly evaporate, and we understand that nothing is going to be the way we thought that it is. Many psychological theories looked into the relationships in our lives, but mostly they've focused on the one-on-one relationship. Now this is very important, but with the scope of integration, I am asking, what about the greater structures in our lives, in society and culture? What about political structures, economical, the media, the arts, and basically our beliefs, common beliefs and values? Now, we must understand that these structures in our societies were built and created by us in order to help us as individuals, to support us, to enable our human evolution. And they've done a remarkable work at that. Look at the explosion of our consciousness and of our creativity and of our knowledge. But unfortunately, many of them turned against us. Instead of helping us, they are using us. And I believe that much of the discomfort, of the suffering, of the psychological symptomology is caused by these structures in our lives. Now, as I've said in the last conversation, through the process of self-introspection, through knowing ourselves, we learn to discriminate between the more subjective, inwardly caused, and the more objective, outwardly, externally caused. In today's words, we can use the terms the more individual and the more non-individual. Now these insights must lead to actions. Some of these actions should be directed inwardly, but some of these actions should be directed outwardly, externally. Now this cannot be done alone. We must find ways to act as a collective. Nobody should be alone. But the search for these ways will be addressed in future conversations, and today we'll stop here in the paradox of our individuality and non-individuality. So if you liked this and reached this point, please make sure to press like, subscribe, share this with someone who might be interested, write a comment. Let's help this channel grow, and we'll meet next time.